What's up, everyone? Welcome to Jason Mackey's First 10, a short version podcast talking all things Pittsburgh sports. Today is Monday, August 26th, and we have a lot to get into here. A busy weekend around Pittsburgh. Also, college football starts this week, so that's fantastic. And the Steelers played their preseason finale against the Lions. Tuesday's cut down day. We'll get into a little bit of that, but probably going to spend a lot of the pod talking about the Pirates, given some of the stuff that I saw around PNC Park on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, it was the Hall of Fame game. Barry Bonds in town, Jim Leland, Manny Sanguian all being inducted. And I think that was a really cool and well done thing. It was neat to see Barry Bonds around. It's the first I've ever gotten to meet him, talk to him, do any of that stuff in person. And also, well, the games have been interesting. Not so much Saturday's game, or if it was interesting for all the wrong reasons, some fundamental things happening. But probably the lead story, I think, with the team right now, as weird as it sounds, and you could talk about kind of on a larger scale, but still kind of pipe dream territory as far back as they are in the wild card and the Central. What is going to go on at catcher, right? That's what I'm interested in as they start a series with the Chicago Cubs. And yeah, it stinks. Absolutely stinks what happened to Joey Bart. He's going to be out. I believe it's left hamstring discomfort. But, you saw him running to first, saw him grab there, and it didn't work out too well for him. And so, well, yeah, he's going to go on the IL. Henry Davis is going to be coming up from AAA, and I think this is an important inflection point or whatever pivot point to what we see with Henry Davis. He has absolutely killed it with Indianapolis. 307, a 956 OPS, 13 homers in 57 games. Obviously, in the majors, hasn't been as good. 29 games with the Pirates, 40 strikeouts, and 85 at-bats, 1 homer, 5 ribs. You've got 32 games left. Yasmani Grandal hit a 2-run homer on Sunday, and it's, I understand the value to the pitching staff, the value to teammates. I thought what Grandal did, to take 3 of 4 from the Reds, commendable. A stat that I learned on the broadcast, by the way, I don't know if anybody else had this, that slugging against fastballs 95 plus, and big shout out to Joe Block on finding this. Yasmani Grandal is second on the Pirates behind only Joey Bart. Didn't see that coming, and then he homers off Diaz in the ninth, an impressive swing nonetheless. I wouldn't mess with anything behind the plate, and that's the way I want to see them roll with catchers here, because I think you need to learn about Henry. I think you need to learn what you have. You need to learn how he's going to handle himself defensively at the major league level. More so, I want to see how much he can hit. I think Yaz has frankly been great in the role that he's been in. If you were talking about a smaller contract and he's your backup catcher, that's great. I don't think anybody has an issue with that. I think the issue was him struggling early on, them allocating some free agent resources to that, although relatively speaking, $2.5 million is not a lot of money. But for your backup catcher, probably don't want to spend that when you're the Pirates. He got off to a lousy start. He did. And it was just like, Rowdy Tellez. I wrote this in my column today. Hearing a lot of boos, struggling with things. But lately, Grandal has been very good. I think last 24 games, 280-ish average, something like that. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but since Bart has taken that position and Grandal's been allowed to stay fresh, he catches Paul Skeens and maybe somebody else throughout the week. He's been very, very good. Very, very beneficial. So I don't want to see the Pirates deviate from that plan. I don't think they will. I think it's going to be important to play Henry Davis and really get a look at what he can do at the major league level, because that's a down the road conversation for the Pirates, something that they absolutely need to answer. For me, Joey Bart is a very easy opening day start next year. I don't, given what he's produced, an 844 OPS and 195 at bats this season is the best available option. But what else do you do outside of that? Is Henry a part of the equation? Is Andy Rodriguez a part of the equation? What do you do with Jason DeLay? I don't know. It's been one of the things that I haven't totally understood about the Pirates and the way they've handled things. We're not taking a look at some of these younger guys who you need to make decisions on this offseason. You need to see how your roster is going to be formulated for next season. So it's unfortunate, again, what happened with Joey Bart, but it will afford an opportunity for Henry Davis that I think I am eager to look at. I think a lot of people are eager to look at. All right, we're going to take a short break per our usual around here with a message from the Bradenton Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. We'll be back on the other side. A little bit more Pirates and a couple Steelers topics I want to touch on.
Embrace the laid-back charm of island life while sinking your toes in the sand and discovering real, authentic Florida in the Bradenton area. Unspoiled beauty and pristine beaches, a vibrant waterfront downtown energized by local arts and culture, fresh Floridian cuisine with a flourish of rich history, and friendly locals ready to welcome you to this preserved paradise on Florida's Gulf Coast. Plan your visit today at BradentonGulfIslands.com.
Hey, and welcome back to First 10. Sunday, by the way, was one of these Pirates classic news dump days. They do this every so often where they just like barf out news at every turn. We learned that Tamar Johnson is coming up, going to Double-A. Well, yeah, not coming up. I made it sound like he's going to the major leagues. He's not, being promoted from Greensboro to Altoona. That's obviously notable given his prominence among Pirates prospects. Michael A. Taylor placed on outright waivers. Doesn't mean they're getting rid of him. It just basically means that they're going to give other teams the option to pick up his contract. Which honestly, that might make sense. I mean, if you take $4 million outside of that, some team might look at it and say, he's had some track record of offensive performance, especially as recently as last year. Obviously hasn't found much this year. Plays Gold Glove caliber defense in center field. So we'll see where that goes. The walk-off win, talked about that. Joey Bart, Henry Davis. So yeah, it was a busy day, but an excellent job by Andrew Destin and Noah Hiles chronicling all of that. I want to back up a day though, because I think this is an important storyline with the Pirates. And I want to hit on two various things, but the first one is some of the sloppiness that we saw on Saturday night. And I don't want that to get lost in the sauce, because I legitimately think this is something the Pirates need to address this offseason. It's been consistent. It's not they just had a bad game. There's been too many bad games. And I heard a lot of response to this column. This seems to be a touchy subject with fans. And I understand. And I think the reason it gets people so upset is because it's so preventable. I mean, it's necessary, one, for a team in the Pirates situation, as I wrote, but it's also preventable. And it's something that the Pirates at the beginning of this thing set out to try to improve. Develop young players better with a greater understanding of what you're doing. And, it seems like a lot of people get mad about O'Neal Cruz when you talk about that sort of thing. And I don't understand. It's a little bit of a criticism of the player. It's also a criticism of the team. And it's just reality. Like, they can be a more fundamentally sound baseball team than they are. O'Neal Cruz can and has been an absolutely incredible player. I think he can be a star in the league. But does he lack some fundamental stuff to his game? Can he improve in that area? Yes, they both can be true. But as far as the Pirates are concerned, you can look in the mirror and say they're not as good as they should be with the sort of stuff that you can control. You're not going to expect them to go and suddenly spend $140 million on payroll. I don't. But I do expect them to make the plays, routine play. Here's a Mike Tomlinism. Make the routine plays routinely. And they didn't do that on Saturday, and it wasn't a one-off. Brian De La Cruz, not worrying about the trail runner at all, trying to throw somebody out at third base. It's not the right baseball play. You have a wild pitch, and I hope Hunter Stratton is okay. I don't mean to diminish the ugly knee injury. You have 2 runs scoring a wild pitch. That can't happen. Too many strikeouts looking. The inability to get down a bunt at key times. O'Neal Cruz is trying to take third with nobody out, down 6 on a ball hit to the third baseman. No, that's just the wrong baseball play. And again, that's what we saw Saturday, but it's indicative of a larger problem. All right, a storyline Sunday I didn't want to get lost in the sauce either, because it was plenty controversial on social media, and I had my own thoughts on it, and I wanted to articulate them in this space. But how about the 7th inning? Kyle Nicholas is on, 1 out, 2 guys on base. Ellie De La Cruz is up, so you want a left-hander in there. Derek Shelton has his choice between Jalen Beeks and Aroldis Chapman. He went with Beeks. And I understand the school of thought, the people saying that Beeks has pitched so well, and that's the guy he wants in that spot. Okay. My argument, and obviously Shelton disagrees with it, and some fans disagree with it too, and I understand that, but I thought I'd articulate both of them. I'm going after the 7th inning. I don't want to I don't want to worry about the 8th inning until the 8th inning. Chapman's my best leverage guy. It's a big leverage spot, probably the biggest in the game. I would bring him in there, and then you let Beeks, if you're going to have Beeks pitch, have him pitch the 8th. Have him pitch the 8th and go get, 5, 6, 7 with nobody on. I'll take Chapman versus De La Cruz with 2 guys on in the 7th, and you're trying to protect a slim lead. That's my argument. Now, you can agree to disagree. It ended up working out just fine for the Pirates, but I thought it was an interesting pivot point. And it's honestly a little different. Maybe that's the thing from what Derek Shelton has done in the past, where he does hunt those leverage spots. And he has, prior to committing to a close, like he would sort of scoff at the idea that, you would install a closer. Wouldn't you want to use your best back end relievers in the highest leverage spots? And then he sort of come around with like the traditional alignment. So anyway, I'm probably out of time to fully flush that out because I do want to hit on a couple Steelers things, but I thought that was interesting, and it generated a pretty good online discussion. So the Steelers offense, by the way, this is going to be a hard transition because I'm well out of time, but the Steelers offense to me should have made everybody feel a little bit more calm. I know they lost in Detroit. Don't really care. I don't really care about their preseason record overall, but I thought Russell Wilson was effective. I don't share the concerns there that I think a lot of people do, just because I think you're somewhat limited in the plays being called, the packages being used. You don't want to get Russell Wilson hurt. By the way, quarterback controversy, that's been fun. I enjoy seeing Jerry Dulac dispel that notion because it seems like something that exists outside of Pittsburgh. Anybody who's around the team every day knows that it's going to be Russell. Well, it's nothing against Justin Fields, just they brought Wilson in here for a reason. And so it was good to see him have a solid game. I enjoyed the throw to George Pickens. That was one. Justin Fields was in the game for this one, but Michael Pruitt with a big catch over the middle. I'd like to see them do a little bit more of that this season, utilizing the tight end over the middle of the field. We'll see. Cordarrelle Patterson was another takeaway for me. Long touchdown run to start. Obviously don't expect him to usurp carries from Najee Harris or Jaylen Warren, but if that's a nice little change of pace element, I think that would be cool. So yeah, some positives there. I left feeling, sort of what I should have felt about the offense, and that it was, largely nothing in the first two preseason games. We also just need to start the season, right? Like I'm kind of bummed it actually doesn't get going this weekend, although I'll enjoy the attention being paid to college football. I'm going to be in West Virginia, Penn State, West Virginia. Pitt hosts Kent State. Going to be a fun weekend around here, but yeah, I wish everything got going this weekend. All right, I ran over a little bit. Thanks for sticking with me. We'll be back here same time, same place tomorrow. Talk a little baseball, probably a few more Steelers topics. Who knows? We'll figure it out between now and then, but thank you so much. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can get this and a lot more content. Thanks for watching First 10.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.